Back in 2002, some months after 9/11 and the initiation of military activities in Afghanistan, I introduced legislation to establish a set of due process that we could live with at Guantanamo. There was no interest in the GOP Congress in having a hearing on that bill or any other. There was no interest in the Republican administration in working with the Congress on dealing with the legal tangle that was being created at Guantanamo. Over the years since I've introduced other legislation, I've asked for hearings. I've asked the administration, the then Bush administration, to work with Congress on legislation that would set up due process that could actually survive in our court system. There was never a single hearing. There was no willingness or interest on the administration's part in working with Congress, and on Congress's part, there was no interest in working with the administration. We in Congress were only too happy to defer this ugly, messy problem to the executive and say, let them handle it. And the result was we've had years of conflicting court decisions, and the Supreme Court has struck down time after time what the administration was doing in the legal process at Guantanamo. And now, we have a new president who's been in office for a few months, who has inherited a legal tangle the likes of which I don't think we've ever seen. I think there are ways to get around this, none of them very good. One of them that I proposed in legislation that I would recommend for Mr. Wolf for his consideration would establish and expand upon the use of military courts-martial to make new status determinations and to prosecute people that we have the evidence to prosecute. That court system, I think, is better than the federal district court system, and I think it's better than creating a new national security court. And I've been talking with the same working group of the administration comprised of Defense Department people and State Department people and Justice Department people. They are doing exactly what they should be doing right now, what we want them to be doing, which is doing a case-by-case review of every single detainee and trying to figure out what the disposition should be. There are some big unanswered questions, and the clock is running. They've set the goal of closing Guantanamo at the end of the year. They're going to have to decide, do we give new status determinations to people? Do we give any respect whatsoever to what the Bush status tribunals did, or do they have to be de novo reviews? Are we going to prosecute them? Where are we going to prosecute them? What are the rules of evidence going to be? I think we can use the Uniform Code of Military Justice and the military courts, which are very much a home court advantage, and we can hold up to the rest of the world that we're giving these detainees the same due process we give our own troops when they're brought up on court-martial charges, nothing more and nothing less. That is, I think, a good balance. Now, I don't know whether in the course of a few hours today we're going to be able to incorporate these difficult concepts in an amendment. I also don't like, if the administration is ready to go forward and prosecute someone, prohibiting them from doing that, from transferring them to court where they can be prosecuted. And the clock is going to run on us at the end of the year. Now, we all want our allies, and we've been urging them to take some of these people. And they're telling us they will take some of these people. It's difficult, and I got to give them credit for them to say they'll take some of these people when we're saying we won't take some of these people. We won't take any of these people. We're not going to like the answers. Whatever the administration comes up with, I guarantee you, there's going to be plenty we don't like. There aren't any easy answers to this. And, I think the amendments that have been described look for an easy answer and a quick hit, and there just isn't going to be an easy answer here. There is, I think, the best of a series of poor alternatives, and I think, for one, it's using the military courts-martial system, expanding the jurisdiction of that courts to do that. But I don't want to constrain the administration from exploring those alternatives by saying they can't spend any funding on developing those alternatives. And